Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to this community showdown. It's going to be Nurgle led by Scrambled Egg Special, facing off against the Beastmen, who shall be helmed by Attack Speed Enjoyer here on the Celestial Lake. And it is going to be Tamurkhan on the Toad Dragon, my absolute favorite lord to use these days. And looking at the Nurgle army, it's going to be a wall of heavy metal Nurgle armor. So we do have a couple Marauders, but the rest of the army is going to be comprised of the Chosen of Nurgle. Well, I actually think these guys are linebackers, man. Even when they're fighting against something that is kind of a counter to them, like Minotaurs or Razor Gores, their 65 melee defense and just super high HP pool usually can make up for it. So we got a couple Chosen, shielded boys. Tamurkhan is a big terror-causing monster. A bit of a missile sponge, but, you know, with Nurgle healing, he can endure. He can take Ungor Raiders, and if you pop Nurgle's favorite son when he's trapped, he does also have the missile resist to boot from having a giant toad beast. And, yeah, certainly not meta in this matchup, right? But curious to see how he can do. In the back, we have a Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle, going to be using Rancid Visitations. No, actually, Stream of Corruption and Fleshy Abundance. So Fleshy Abundance going to be pretty much just for Tamurkhan and the Chosen, I would imagine. Now, for the Armies of Attack Speed Enjoyer, another legendary player here in our community, he's going to be bringing a fun build too. We have the frickin' Jabber Wookiee. It is going to be the JABBERSLYTHE. So this thing is actually quite good at killing elite infantry. It does have a conditional Mortis engine. Let's take a look. Yeah, their leadership has to be lower than 50, so a little bit tricky against like Chosen, but against like Chaff units, pretty good at clearing them out. The rest of the army is going to be Gore Herds, Ungor Raiders, moving up in droves. We do have Malagor the Dark Omen with Flock of Doom as well, and that appears to be it. A couple Ungabunga Raiders going to be on the outside. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the battle's soon to be on, and we do see the objectives going to the Beastmen out of the gates. Very standard stuff. Beastmen are typically going to be faster and get up on the objectives quicker. Nurgle should just be grateful that they have one objective. So I like this. Going to be leaving the Chaff units to defend the back objective. You know, if the Raiders move up, they can shoot into shielded Marauders, right? And the elite units of Nurgle actually going to be rotating over and getting ready to engage on the objective. Breath attack coming out from Tammy does some decent damage against the Gore Herds. It's not quite as good as the Dragon Breath attack, and well, maybe it is, but he just can't get the angle, right? Like, dragons are up in the air and they can get those juicy side angles. I think for Tamurkhan it's a little bit harder since he's on the ground. But yeah, still a beast. So Toads called in, so Battle Toads are here, and we do get Centaurs with throwing axes. A very annoying poke unit. Certainly probably just sending the shielded Marauders up to absorb the damage would be the right play. So they're going to move on. Are they going to get any charges? They want the Toads, but of course, Scrambled Egg doing an excellent job pulling his Toads out of range so that if the Centaurs want to get any damage, they're going to have to get in range of the melee units. So very, very good play right there. I love it. Chosen of Nurgle advancing. Tamurkhan very, very cautious behind the trees right here. A little bit of harrying and skirmishing on the other side. Attack Speed Enjoyer has pretty insane... he has pretty insane freaking micro. Like, that's one of the things with like mobile fast units. All the games I played against him, he's really, really excellent at cycle charging and maneuvering fast units. So Beastmen certainly seems like a faction that would be very, very good for him. So, Tamurkhan and company going to be chilling here. Still not pushing up in the objective, so Nurgle's really waiting. Holy shit, is this... I don't know if he's memeing with just going heavy with Toads, or like maybe he thinks he's going to be able to overwhelm his opponent with like a big Nurgle Toad Tide. I don't know, man. We're going to find out. So Chosen 1, 2, and 3 are all lined up here. We have the Chaos Sorcerer of Nurgle. Nurglings here, going to get popped by the Centaurs with throwing axes, and now they're going to bounce over and get the other one. So really nice grab, you know, that's 350 gold. It's not insignificant. A couple Battle Toads going to be trying to charge in, but really, really nice mobile play coming in. But I think some of the Beastmen might actually get trapped on the way out. So as they try and escape here from the Toads as well as the Nurglings, maybe, no, they got out pretty damn clean. Yeah, good mass on those guys. All right, so the horn of the Plague Father has been sounded, and the Chosen going to be moving up as we do get the Ungabunga Raider shooting into Tamurkhan. He's going to be juking those. Tamurkhan definitely needs to keep the JABBERSLYTHE in check. Otherwise, it could definitely bully the Chosen a little bit and do some good damage against them, get a lot of value. And the Battle Toads here just being used against the Centaurs and the mobility, but really not committing too heavily to the fight. Obviously, the Beastman mobility is putting some old fear in him there. So Chosen on the way. Just 8-foot-tall Giga Chads versus these tiny little beast people with spears. Certainly, although their height difference, okay, that's pretty stark. Yeah, they're literally like 2 or 3 feet taller than them. And here comes Tamurkhan. So Tamurkhan's going to be on the way in, and that will be some big terror routes potentially going down. But immediately Tamurkhan sees the other big papa on the battlefield and is going to be attacking the JABBERSLYTHE here, trying to do whatever damage he can, and does get some respectable damage against the Jabber Wookiee as the Chosen continue moving forward, and the Beastmen lines here are going to be buckling relatively hard. But now I would expect the Attack Speed Enjoyer to grab all of the Centaurs and maybe try and do a... yeah, like a throwing axe targeting maneuver, like maybe getting your Tamurkhan, surround him with a bunch of ranged weapons. But Nurgle's pushing up and not making it easy. Holy shit, the Toad Tide. Look at that. There's a whole bunch of these Toads moving in. It's going to be a nice cinematic shot right there as they pour in, and the Beastmen actually in a bit of a precarious position here. Really jammed up, having trouble getting on Tamurkhan, although he is being peppered by some archers. But Scrambled Egg popping Nurgle's favored son. That's going to be giving a ward save, which mitigates 20% of the damage from missiles on top of the missile resist. And the Toad lines have collided with the Pestigores and other infantry units. Jabberwocky will not be very good against the Toads, but it should be pretty exceptional against the infantry. That's for sure. So on the backside, we do have some Gore Herds trying to make their way through. Furies are coming up. Furies are obviously going to be trying to shut down maybe the Ungor Raiders, or rear charging Centaurs is a really good usage of them as well. And the Giga Chad Chosen, though, absolutely dominated the Beastmen on Objective 3. So now the objectives are in the favor of Nurgle, and for them, they just need to hold this for a long time. If Nurgle can maintain the status quo, leave the brick wall of Chosen that's going to be just impassable here as a screen, and get Tamurkhan back and under a round for this fight, that'd be pretty massive. Toads are actually kind of getting worked on a little bit. Looks like they are getting worn on down, and a bit of a miss micro coming in. Oh no, actually it looks like a slow ability, but the Chaos Furies do get caught in a bad situation, and they hemorrhage a lot of value, which helps Attack Speed Enjoyer kind of close the gap there a little bit. So on the backside, more Furies being called in. Nurgle Chosen are cackling. We do have one Chosen here. I believe the other Chosen, let's see where they are. Over here fighting some of the Beastmen Gore Herds, should be a pretty decisive fight for them. And Fury's getting worn down by the Centaur charges, but they do have Marauder support, so they should be okay there. Tammy's on the hunt. Big old Tamurkhan with his Battle Axe of Doom. God, I wish Tamurkhan was a model for Chaos and Warhammer the Old World. He's such a cool character, man. Like, the named Chaos characters we got for Warhammer the Old World were honestly kind of lame. I mean, I guess Galrach is cool, but his model's just not that exciting as a centerpiece for me. And then, you know, we got the Friedel, the Chainmaker. She's okay, but she's mainly for the, yeah, like, she's a foot character, right? Which in that edition is just kind of bad, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish we got, like, a big Toad Dragon or something. I guess they didn't want to do anything that was, like, super god-specific. So Galrach is, of course, Tzeentch. But he's like, oh, you know, a little bit fits in well with Undivided, and so does Friedel, the Valkyrie lady. So looking around here, we do see Objective 3 belonging to Nurgle. Chosen going to be rerouting and anchoring here, and this Chosen unit is just farming skulls. Korn is jealous. He's like, can you guys join my cause? But yeah, they're going to be butchering through these Beastmen units. Up to how many kills right now? 175. Value on them probably not bad, but yeah, they're getting a lot of work done in there. And Nurgle is not giving ground. They are holding very well. The Beastmen are trying to push through. Tamurkhan is very healthy here, and you never want to be close to Nurgle in value. That's always, against those like healing-centric factions, that could be very dangerous territory to be in, right? So Tamurkhan grinds into the Gore Herds here, and the Marauder's able to push some of them back. Chosen units, yeah, I think all three of them are just healthy. All three Chosen are in good shape. These ones are pretty healthy. These guys are at half health, but one frickin', you know, big fleshy abundance, and they're in good shape. Although the Beastmen are a little bit resurgent on the other side. If you look, Nurgle is kind of giving ground here. Some Marauders are anchoring, and I would imagine that Scrambled Egg Special, what is he calling in? He's got 2,200 supplies? Like, what is he doing? It must be some weird, like, Chaos Knight or, like, big mobility push. Maybe he's trying to, like, lull his opponent into a false sense of confidence. Move forward. Rot. Oh, that explains everything. The Rotting Riders. Yeah, they're, like, literally 2,200 gold. I guess I should have seen that coming. But Tamurkhan is holding the tide at bay while the Chosen over here continue fighting the good fight. The Jabberwocky here is doing pretty good work, I guess. Only 700 value so far, but this is where it's going to get its money's worth, as it does jump on the Chosen. Chosen are still pretty close to half health, but is the Malediction of Madness going to be afflicting them yet? Doesn't look like it. Their leadership pretty insane. Now, will Rotting Riders be good here, or would it have been more prudent to call out just a ton of infantry? I guess, you know, Plague Bearers could have been a nice call-in at this point, with the Ungabunga Raiders being a little bit offline, although there still are 3 of them, so that would have been tough for sure. Tamurkhan going to be rerouting back, Fleshy Abundance activated, and here we do see the Chosen of Nurgle getting ready to re-engage as the Rotting Riders move up, and I would assume it'll call in some chaff infantry to hold the back objective. It's very flimsy there, but Nurgle is going to be passing the Beastmen for the first time in the game, so they are making their way there as the Rotting Riders move in. A lot of Centaurs with throwing axes are kind of a problem for these guys if they're able to kite them, but Rotting Riders, if they can catch you, they're going to butter your sweet bread. And they do move in, do a little bit of shock damage, and then reroute over here, trying to shut down the Ungor Raiders. Getting attacked by the Pestigores will be kind of a downtrade for them, unfortunately. Tamurkhan duking it out, surrounded by Centaurs, able to get the break. Forsaken, very good in this matchup as well. Hard hitting against light armor. So will the Rotting Riders be able to, you know, help carry this game? We still do have the Nurgle Sorcerer. Tamurkhan is getting a little bit low. Fleshy Abundances probably will be used on Rotting Riders at this point. Pestigores trading into them super cost effectively, as are the Centaurs with throwing axes. See that nice maneuver there? Moving up along the side, getting the throwing axe pressure on the Rotting Riders is just chef's kiss. And honestly, the back objective could be in danger. The Beastmen have a lot of mobile weight here. They can move to objective 2 if they want to and try and ninja that, at least force Nurgle to respect it a little bit. Chosen here, we still have 78. Still have a fair amount of Chosen here, 52 of those, fighting against the Centaurs with the Nurgle Sorcerer, who is on foot. So he's not going to be super good against the big scary beastie here. Curse of the Slug activated, very, very nice. So that is going to be slowing the thing down. But Jabberwockies have really crazy animations. When they get close, they create so much free distance with their charge attacks. It's kind of interesting how in Total War, like, animations are literally part of the meta. Like, some things like, oh, that model has good animations, but only in Total War, man. Only in Total War. So, well, that's actually not true, because animations in other RTS games, like in Age of Empires, animation canceling was literally a thing, so it is relevant in RTS. But here we do see the Vorber Gland Broodmother being chased by big old Tammy. Tammy, pretty healthy at this point. I don't know if there's going to be a lot that can threaten Tamurkhan in the late game, but the Beastmen do get the back objective Ninja and overwhelm the Forsaken, but there are going to be some Popcorn Bandits coming in. Forsaken will be able to chew down some of the Beastmen units, but oh, Centaurs with great weapons do so much freaking damage against Forsaken. Forsaken have very low melee defense, and when the charge bonus Centaurs come in, it can actually get very ugly very quickly. So we're going to see what happens. Rotting Rider is going to be trying to come back and stabilize that objective. In the meantime, over on Objective 3, we do see Tamurkhan eating some errant arrows, but for the most part, hanging in there. Definitely getting like a Chosen on the back objective would be nice, but it's just going to be infantry spam, which makes sense. Centaurs don't want to be in sustained combat with infantry, and actually some of the great weapon variants here are getting harried and killed by the Rotting Riders. But the throwing axes, oh man, 4 Centaur throwing axes are just going to rip apart the Rotting Riders. Yeah, no shields, nothing. They're going to have a really bad time. Maybe some Furies called out here on the flank could be good. Rotting Riders. Oh, Curse of the Slug. Really nice. That's going to be slowing down the Centaurs here. Poison is active. Speed is at 42. And now Nurgle, for the first time, is actually getting some capture weight on this back objective. And does look like they're going to flip it. Rotting Riders having a good fight. This is what they want. I mean, a little bit surrounded, but you know, they're going to put up a good fight here and definitely drag down a lot of the Beastmen with them. So not bad at all. Now, over towards Objective 3, Tamurkhan and company still holding. Sorcerer and Nurglings arriving. Chosen still anchoring. Looks like the Jabberwockie, every time it tries to move in, it kind of gets bullied a little bit by Tamurkhan here. So you can see the melee defense is at 24, plus 24, and also the Phys-Res, or Ward Save, is going to be very, very nice. On the backside, how does this fight look? Dude, Rotting Riders, absolute linebackers putting that game on their back. Getting a break on the Centaurs and actually chasing off some of the throwing axes with the support of some Furies. Some of these air units called in, certainly going to be getting a nice swarm on these guys. So they are going to be on the hunt, chasing after those bad boys. Now, looking here, we do see the value, 1060 versus 1130. Nurgle's a little bit behind here, but, you know, they're getting there, although Tamurkhan getting low. Oh, the Ungor Raiders must have gotten a couple good volleys on him. Okay. So Tamurkhan going to be running back into the tree line. Battletoad's going to be called out. And man, what a close game we have on our hands, huh? Rotting Riders might be a big variable here in the late game, too. They've gotten 1,400 value, so not coming close to paying for themselves, but that was a nice little play they had there, anchoring that back objective. But you can't help but wonder if there had just been a bunch of infantry back there instead of the Rotting Riders, you know, would that have just held like a couple Plague Bearers or something? I don't know. Hard to say. So, Jabberwockie's on its way back in. Tamurkhan is also waddling. I expect Tamurkhan's going to be dropping some breath attacks here, probably. But this is not looking good for Nurgle here. It looks like the Beastmen are going to be able to get this. Dude, a breath attack? Oh, dude, he read my mind. I was about to say right here would have been so good. Unfortunately, his opponent has good micro and does turn about face. But the breath attack might be enough to break their leadership. Oh, wow, that did a shitload of damage right there. Okay. Tamurkhan means business. He shatters 2 of the archers, and the other one is shaken and stirred. We do have some Marauders coming in. The objective does flip to the Beastmen. Battletoads are here. Tamurkhan is probably going to be sent in the 4th quarter. He's got to make sure that the throwing weapons run out of ammunition first. Back objective looking pretty good. Ungor Spearmen probably lose the Nurglings, although I don't know. Nurglings are pretty haggard little fighters. They don't have much melee attack to get through things, but they're going to be trying their best here. And looking over at Objective Trace, we do see the old Toads coming up. Tamurkhan is there as well, and it is going to be the Marauders on the way in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here comes the big kaiju fight. 2400, Tamurkhan making first contact there, first blood. Now, Tamurkhan is unbreakable too, and the Curse of the Maggot Lord could be relevant if Malagor stays too close to Tamurkhan as he dies, but we're going to see if that ends up happening. He attacks in, and the Jabberwocky is getting its butt kicked a little bit. Nurgle is going to be trying to grab this objective. Rotting Riders are running into the backfield and actually just chasing off a lot of the Centaur pressure, which is pretty massive. But Nurglings and Marauders coming out. Nurgle's going to have to get this objective pretty soon. If they don't get it soon, it's going to be too late, and they'll have to get a triple cap, which is not going to happen. A bit of a misplay coming in from Nurgle, not having their Sorcerer on the objective. That would have been 3 extra capture weight. But here we do see the Nurgle's favorite son and Fecundity. So he's going to be healing capped here in a second, getting the last of his healing in. As he tries to break these units, Nurgle does get the capture weight advantage, and he does start to move the Chaos Sorcerer in. Well played there. So good fundamentals. Nurgling's a little bit flimsy on the back objective. You know, Beastmen could maybe threaten this if they wanted to, if they pulled a couple of these Centaurs over there, but I guess the Rotting Riders could keep them honest. All right, so will they get through the pasties? We got 2 infantry units coming up. If Nurgle gets this objective, I don't see the Beastmen getting it back, especially with the Jabber Wookiee having been broken, sitting at 39 HP right there. Really not going to be a player anymore in this game. Gore herds are broken. Pestigor's going to get routed. Sorcerer does arrive. And yeah, is it going to be mobile pressure on the back objective? Frolickers Bubonic preemptively heading towards objective 1, maybe expecting that they're going to need a triple cap. At this point, yeah, the Beastmen will win on 1 objective, so very, very close match here. It's been very interesting. I don't think there's any chances for Nurgle to get there in time. Yeah, so this objective flips right now. Maybe Tamurkhan can move over there, but he's only got 70. He's got like just over a minute, which is not a lot of time. I mean, Nurgle's not very fast, so Nurgle's a faction you can't really afford to be in that situation, and that's going to be a victory for the Beastmen. What a great back and forth game with 2 unorthodox builds, right? The triple chosen Tamurkhan. I mean, Tamurkhan 3,500, dude. And the Jabber Wookiee didn't perform as well, but he still was an absolute Chad. He was fun to see. Amazing Centaur play. I think, Centaurs are very strong, S tier unit, but, seeing someone like Attack Speed Enjoyer just have that excellent control over them is so freaking nice. Yeah, that was fun. I don't know how I feel about the Battletoads. I feel like that was the weak link of the army. Rotting Riders did okay, but they barely paid for themselves. Like, if Nurgle never lost that back objective, I think they win the game. So maybe just calling out more infantry for the back point would have been the play. But I don't know. Maybe you didn't have any, right? Who knows? GG, well played. See you guys around, and hopefully you enjoyed that one. I certainly did, and that is it for tonight.